This story was written by a group of writers in Furness, the Lake District, called U3A Furness. My name is Reg Rowland and I live in Herefordshire. Grandad's Goodnight. My paternal granddad was born in 1877 and spent his working life in the coal mines, and much to my amusement had his own way of saying good night. He was stocky with a physique which, even in old age when I knew him, told of a man of great physical strength when in his prime. He was not only strong, but also silent most of the time, except when I got him to reminisce about his time in the pits. One piece of wisdom which I have never forgotten and endeavoured to follow was, "Don't thee go down pit, lad, get an education." His knowledge of mining techniques fascinated me, with his tales of riding the cages fathoms deep, sinking shafts, driving roads, surveying galleries, and the use of different types of explosives. Recollections of his time as a member of a mine rescue team included graphic description of disasters and the grim conditions faced when the aftermath of a gas explosion or roof fall had to be dealt with. Once he retrieved a set of rather dog-eared plans from the sideboard cupboard and unrolled them on the kitchen table, revealing the layout of a vast underground air raid shelter. A copy of these ideas, he assured me, had been sent for the attention of the government authorities in Whitehall when the threat of war in the 1930s was becoming increasingly apparent. No acknowledgement was received, but, after the war, he was certain that a large shelter constructed somewhere in the southeast of England matched his plans very closely. In his daily life, the discipline of early to bed and early to rise, long ago established in his working life, never left him. As an elderly man in his 70s and early 80s, he would be out on his morning walks at 5:30 in the morning, fortified by a pint of pot of tea with bread and dripping. I have said he was silent, but as he walked, his approach could be heard from some distance due to his squeaky boots. He spent a lifetime on low wages with 6 children to support, so strict economy was second nature. When the soles of his boots were wearing thin, he simply got out his cobbler's last and nailed on another layer of leather. This not only made his boots squeak at every step, but also had the advantage over the years of adding at least another inch to his height. Up to the 1950s, people tended to remain living in the same locality, and this was true for my family. Grandparents, aunts, uncles and cousins all lived within a few miles of each other, and I kept in touch by visiting often in those pre-TV days. In our case, my paternal grandparents' home tended to be the gathering place on a Sunday evening, after the chapel evening service, when several family members would drop in for a chat and cup of tea. You can perhaps picture the family group sitting around the coal fire, with Grandad alongside the table in his well-worn rocking chair, smoking a pipe fueled by a black Roper Condor Twist tobacco. Conversation between Grandma and the visitors would be heard by Grandad, but he seldom passed comment. If something amused him, a faint hissing noise like an escaping steam would seem to come from somewhere under his tree-stainer moustache, accompanied by a low chuckle. But there was a time limit to these family get-togethers as far as he was concerned. He always maintained that an hour of sleep before midnight was theirs too after, and a busy family visit would not be in any way change his acquired lifetime routine. Without a word to the gathering throng, he would rise from his chair and disappear into the kitchen. On his return, he shoveled up the fire from the grate in one practiced move and headed upstairs to transfer the smoking embers to the bedroom fireplace. Visitors were left staring at the empty grate, breathing acrid coal and tobacco fumes, and feeling the rapidly falling temperature while contemplating the none too subtle message that it was time to go home.